For most of us, being held captive is something that only happens in movies. The notion of being kidnapped by another human being, having your liberty taken away, and being forced to do as you are told is a thing of nightmares. But for some people, it was once their reality. Here are some very disturbing interviews with ex-captives. Just a warning, some of the stories in these interviews are highly distressing. Watch at your own risk. Just before the video begins, if you are new around here, be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell to be notified every time I upload. The Ariel Castro kidnappings took place between 2002 and 2004 when three young women, Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry and Georgina DeJesus, were kidnapped by Ariel Castro and held captive in his home in the Tremont neighbourhood of Cleveland in the US state of Ohio. They were subsequently imprisoned in his house until the 6th of May 2013, when Berry escaped with her 6-year-old daughter and contacted the police. Knight and DeJesus were rescued by responding officers, and Castro was arrested within hours. In this interview, Michelle Knight tells reporters of her captivity. On the 11th of March 2005, Brian Nichols escaped from his Atlanta rape trial, stole a gun from a sheriff's deputy, and gunned down a judge and court reporter before fleeing. That evening, he ran across 26-year-old Ashley Smith after she had finished work, and forced his way into her apartment, where he confined her for 7 hours. During this time, she read chapter 32 of a book called The Purpose-Driven Life to Nichols, which she credited as influencing his decision to release her from captivity. In this interview, Smith talks about her encounter with Nichols.
Screamed just at the top of my lungs, and he came up to me, shut up, and just point the gun at me, just shut up, don't scream. If you don't scream, I won't hurt you. So I stopped screaming, and he pushed me in the house and shut the door and locked it. And I just knew that I wasn't gonna make it out of there. I knew I was gonna die. But I immediately said, God, look, he can rape me, he can do whatever he wants to me. Just let me walk out of here alive.
Inside, he told Ashley he was Brian Nichols, the man police had been looking for.
He had already killed 3 people to my knowledge, and he wasn't gonna stop. I immediately started praying silently to God, just please get me out of here alive. I've been through so many things in my life. I will get through whatever happens to me. Just please do not let him kill me.
Nichols made her sit in the bathtub and left the room. He returned with a roll of tape.
When he came back with the tape, I was like, this is it. You know, he's just gonna strangle me with he had an extension cord too. He's gonna strangle with me with the extension cord, or he's gonna tape me up first, rape me, and then strangle me. That's it.
Natasha Kapoch is an Austrian woman who was abducted at the age of 10 on the 2nd of March 1998 and held captive in a cellar by her kidnapper, Wolfgang Pricklepil, for more than 8 years, until she escaped on the 23rd of August 2006. In this interview, Natasha talks about her horrendous ordeal.
What exactly happened on that day?
I walked down the street and I saw a man.
If anyone can understand what the Cleveland kidnap victims must have endured, it's Natasha Kapoch. She took us to the street in Vienna where she herself was abducted, aged just 10.
Grabbed me and...
Like the women in Cleveland, she spent the best part of a decade torn from her family, imprisoned in her abductor's house. This is the man who robbed Natasha of her childhood. Wolfgang Pricklepil kept her locked in his cellar for 8 long years. He raped her, then committed suicide when she finally escaped, aged 18.
It was an enormous feeling of joy that cannot be compared to anything else. You see all the possibilities laid out in front of you. The women in Cleveland should really try to savour this joyous feeling as long as possible.
I was very jealous of him. He had everything and I had only a small room.
But at the house where she was a prisoner, she's now the owner. It was awarded to her by the Austrian courts as damages.
The kidnapping of Jaycee Dugard occurred on the 10th of June 1991, south of South Lake Tahoe in California. Dugard, at the time of her abduction, was just 11 years old. She was abducted from a street while walking from home to a school bus stop. Searches began immediately after her disappearance, but no reliable leads were generated, despite the fact that her stepfather, Carl Probin, witnessed her kidnapping and chased the kidnappers on his mountain bike. Dugard remained missing until 2009, when a convicted sex offender, Philip Garrido, visited the University of California campus in Berkeley, accompanied by two girls on August 24th and 25th that year. The unusual behaviour of the trio sparked an investigation that led Garrido's parole officer to order him to take the two girls to the parole office in Concord, California on August 26th. He was accompanied by a woman identified as Jaycee Dugard, 29 years old. Philip, 58, and his wife, Nancy, 54, were arrested by police for kidnapping, imprisonment and sexual assault. On the 28th of April 2011, they pleaded guilty to Dugard's kidnapping and sexual assault. Law enforcement officers believe Dugard was kept in concealed tents, sheds and lean-tos in an area behind the Garrido's house for 18 years. During such time, Dugard bore two daughters, 11 and 15, at the time of her reappearance. This interview gives us an in-depth view of the complex thought processes Dugard had as a captive.
She tells us right after she's kidnapped, he forces her into a shower with him, and she's never seen an unclothed man. Again, she's just 11. It will be at the end of that first week that he brings her a milkshake.
Comes in with the milkshake, and I was getting used to him coming in. But he said things were going to be different
This time. She is still in handcuffs the first time he rapes her.
I remember crying, but they were silent. Just tears running down my face.
She tells us she remembers seeing a trail of ants make their way toward the untouched milkshake. It will continue day after day.
Before I ate meals, felt like every day. I mean, like I said, time is hard to judge, but there's a switch that I had to shut off.
Just go someplace else.
Just went someplace else.
At one point, he brings in a TV, though she can't see the news. She doesn't know. Her mother is now asking neighbors to keep their porch lights on in case she comes home. He tells her the demon angels, those voices he hears, had let him take her because she will help him with his sexual problems. And again, this is a convicted sex offender still in the care of court-mandated doctors. He had one appointment 3 days before he kidnapped Jaycee, and another appointment 4 days after. But he tells her society has ignored him, and that's why she is there.
That's what I was here for. Yeah, that's why he got me.
And if you do it, you would keep other little girls safe?
Yeah, he was always, protect other people, so he didn't have to go out and do this to anybody else.
Did you believe that you were protecting other little girls?
I think I did. I think on some level I did, yeah.
Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my videos. See you next time.